I know that my dad had been called before the Senate Internal Security Subcommittee. That was part of the McCarthy era constellation of anti-communist witch hunt committees at the state and federal level. And my father's position was to speak truth to the committee or to refuse to answer if they wouldn't allow him to make the statements that he was prepared to make about why certain members of the committee had no standing in Congress, because they were elected from districts or states where African Americans were not permitted to vote. And so I was pretty proud of that. I knew enough at the age of, 6, 7, about things like the Constitution and voting. So I had a sense that he was going to pay a price for standing up for what he believed in. And I could get behind my dad, be proud of my dad for that without understanding a whole lot more. My mother tried hard to keep me connected with other kids, other families whose parents were also suffering, so there was a common bond and understanding, and because there was also in the general community the kind of notoriety that these cases had, and exposing reds in the schoolhouse or in the apartment house or whatever, that would cause people to lose their jobs or get kicked out of houses and so forth. There was a lot of fear going on, but I was fortunate to be raised in a world where even in New York City there was a lot of support, appreciation, and respect for what my father was doing and others at that time. So I would say up through he eventually, when he went to prison, he was cited for contempt of Congress for refusing to cooperate with that committee, and there was about a 1-year sentence. And while that was being appealed, the trial of what came to be known as the Smith Act 11, the 11 leaders of the Communist Party, took place, and they were all convicted and got the maximum 5-year sentence. So when my dad went to prison, it was first to the Federal Detention Center in New York City to serve this 10-month sentence on the contempt of Congress, and then he was shipped down to the maximum security prison in Atlanta, Georgia, for 5 years. And I can't remember how many months he got off for good behavior, but he served most of that term. And when he got out of prison, I was going on 13, and it was a real hard time. It was a hard time adjusting to his being out of prison, to the decline in his health,